You're not losing the argument. You're refusing to play a game that's rigged. Because some people don't argue to find truth. They argue to protect their ego. Research-backed writing on difficult people points out a brutal detail. Many have low self-awareness and they externalize blame. So accountability doesn't land. That means your best logic won't fix it. And pushing harder usually feeds the fight. In this video, you'll learn what to do instead. How calm, simple silence becomes a boundary that stops the emotional drain. Have you ever noticed that the loudest person in the room is often the least curious? They're not talking to learn, they're talking to survive. Imagine you're in a meeting. The slide is up, the numbers are right there. And someone says the wrong thing with full confidence, like it's settled law. You feel that heat in your chest because you know the data, you saw the email thread, you were in the call where it got decided. Your first urge is simple: correct it, clean it up, keep the team from walking off a cliff. But then you catch the real signal. This isn't a search for truth, it's a dominance test. You can see it in the timing, the way they speed up when challenged, the way they lean in, talk over, smirk like they're scoring points. And every time you offer proof, they don't move closer to reality. They move closer to rage. That's the part people miss. A truth-seeking person gets quieter when new facts show up. They pause. They adjust. A dominance-seeking person gets louder because the point was never the facts. The point was control. Most people read your silence as fear, like you froze, like you couldn't keep up. But here's the thing. The silence you're supposed to feel guilty about is actually executive function. That's the brain system that helps you plan, hold back impulses, and choose the next move on purpose. Your mind is doing a fast scan and going, "This is not a safe place to be honest." Not because you're weak, because you're accurate. Psychologists call this rigid thinking. It's when someone's inner rules don't update, even when new info lands right in front of them. The story stays the same. The role list stays the same. They're right, someone else is wrong, and the room is supposed to agree. Research on difficult personality patterns points to something that sounds small but isn't. Low self-awareness. Not like they're clueless in a funny way. More like their defenses are so locked in that admitting a mistake feels like danger, so blame has to go outward. It has to land on you, on the data, on the way it was explained, on the tone, on anything but them. Now think about what that actually means. If their self-esteem is tied to winning this exact moment, then backing down doesn't feel like losing a point. It feels like losing their identity, like the floor drops out. So they fight for the only thing that keeps them steady, the scoreboard. So you stop doing the one thing that keeps the fight alive. You stop feeding the zero-sum game. You stop acting like logic is the shared goal when it isn't. You keep an internal locus of control. You manage what you can manage. Your breath, your words, your exit. You try one calm sentence anyway, just one. I'm looking at the numbers from last quarter and they don't match that. Clean, plain. They cut you off. They twist what you said into something else. They aim at your tone, not your point. Why are you getting so intense? Or, you always have to be right. And you can feel the room's mirror neurons kick in, that social reflex where people match the mood. Everyone gets tense. Not because of the facts, because the air got sharp. And that's when you realize it. They came in already decided. You weren't invited into a discussion. You were invited into a fight where the outcome was picked before you opened your mouth. What does psychology say is going on inside someone who always has to win a fight? Ego defense. Blame going outward. A need to control the score because the inside feels unstable. This wasn't your silence being small. It was your silence being smart. You saw the pattern before it pulled you in. Which brings us to the hard part. How do you tell when this is just normal stubbornness and when it's something deeper? There is something different about a person who's just set in their ways versus a person who can't admit a miss, even with receipts on the screen. Think about two people. Person A argues. You go back and forth. It's annoying, but it stays about the topic. Later that day or the next week, they circle back and go, "Yeah, I was off." No big speech, just a quick reset. Now person B, same start, same pushback. But after the heat, they don't cool down into clarity. They rewrite the past. They say you never said what you said, or they claim the whole thing was misunderstood. Then they end with, "Why are you attacking me?" Like you threw the first punch for no reason. The trap is you treat both like they want the same thing. You bring facts, you bring examples, you bring patience. And person B treats all of it like handcuffs. You show a screenshot. They say it's out of context. You play the clip. They say the clip is edited, even if you both watched it live. You point to the policy. They say the policy is just a suggestion now. It's like you're trying to hand them a map, and they're acting like you're trying to lock them in a room. Psychologists call this reactance. It's that snapback feeling people get when they think their freedom is being squeezed. Not just freedom to act, freedom to be right, freedom to not feel managed. So the moment you correct them, even gently, their brain reads it as control, and their whole system leans into defiance. It's like telling someone they shouldn't eat cake, and suddenly cake is all they can think about. Not because cake matters, because the shouldn't lights up their need to prove they still choose. So every correction you make can land like a threat, not a help. And then the argument gets louder, not clearer. Your calm tone doesn't fix it. Your careful wording doesn't fix it. You can feel your own body trying to stay steady while their voice climbs, because the real fight isn't the topic anymore. It's autonomy. Now add a second layer, because some people have an oppositional conversational style. They don't talk to build, they talk to poke holes. You say one line and they, well, actually you. You explain the main point and they hunt for one word. You try to zoom out and they drag it back to a tiny detail, like the whole world hangs on that one sentence. And it wears you down in a special way. Because your executive function is trying to solve, and their pattern is trying to stall. You answer one objection and they spawn two more. You don't feel smarter at the end. You feel tired. Then you notice it's not just you. You watch them do it with everyone. They correct the intern over a small term. They challenge the boss on a simple update. They argue about a joke at lunch like it's a court case. Same rhythm. Same need to win the moment. It's a pattern, not a mood.